Did you collect baseball cards when you were a kid? Perhaps maybe football, hockey, or perhaps if you were really smart, you collected Pokemon cards. Now, it's impossible to see where the future is going to go to know exactly what is going to be hot in the future. So we have to make our best guesses. I was speaking with a team from Ethernity, and they asked me if I could do a short sponsored video. I said yes, I like this project. In fact, Ethernity is a project I was desperate to get into the pre-sale back in February and January of last year. I didn't have the connections to make that happen. Some people I know made several 100x gains were able to. But I've followed this project ever since their inception. I like it. I do like it, and especially like some of their NFTs. And so in agreeing to that, there was no agreement as to what I could say and what I could not say, because I don't do that. I say what I really think about something. Most of the time, I just don't take sponsored videos because I don't cover projects that I don't feel benefit you, because there's so much crap out there, and I don't care how much they offer to pay me. I just say no. So with that said, welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. You already know this, but I'm your host, Jay Rain. And if you like money in crypto and you're looking for a seasoned investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. Do note, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself. I also collect NFTs, and I've made crazy money on some of them. Now make it rain on that like button and strap in for the show. A lot of what I cover is tokens, but I don't only collect tokens. I have a soft spot for digital collectibles because the value increases can be incredible. Last March, I covered the first Batman on the blockchain through a Coinbase app on the phone called Vivi. That made incredible returns. In fact, it went from $80 to at the peak $16,000. Do you realize how many X's that is? That is ridiculous level money. So that's not 20x, that's not 200x, that's 2000x. However, with NFTs, you're looking for some criteria. I look for top level intellectual property, like top level athletes, brands, something that gives it high desirability. So this brings me to Ethernity, who has created their own marketplace. It's impossible to know exactly what will do well. Like, I knew the first Batman on the blockchain would do well. What I didn't know is how well it would do, but it made complete sense to me. This is the first, and Vivi established the solidity of their marketplace over time, and that Batman did tremendous, as well as many of their other things. Ethernity has crushed it, in my opinion, on some really big licenses and their website. And so that's why I could say yes to them. Now, I'm going to walk you through how I use their website, right? So if you go to Ethernity.io, then hover over Marketplace. Let's just go to all. Now, it looks like avatars are coming soon. And this is how I use it. I like to look for buy now. I don't want to mess with the auction stuff. But look how cool they did these collections, that I can scroll through these collections. And I love how to use this. So we're going to scroll through. I'm going to show you the ones that I like that they have. Now, Maradona is a really big deal if you follow football, or Americans say soccer. But, 1 of 10. And I guess this is a jersey. I just don't know how this is an NFT is going to do. It might do tremendous. Maradona is one of the best football players of all time. That guy was drunk and probably on cocaine, and he was still dribbling circles around some of the top football soccer players of his time while completely high and loaded. And it takes ridiculous levels of skill to be able to do that. All right. So that one, though, I'm price sensitive. So that's a big risk at that kind of ask price. They're asking $15,300, but there are only 10 of them. Okay. So it's not often I'll take that big of a risk on an NFT. I'm looking for stuff that makes more sense. So Anderson Silva, if you follow MMA, so he's got an 4,400 available. So he's got 4,400 of these available and $55. Now, it's hard to say with MMA athletes, like, what is going to look 50 years from now if the sport continues to grow in following. some of these early cards will be possibly worth a whole lot. Now, Ethernity, as they establish themselves as a marketplace, that means the NFTs that transfer on their marketplace really establish the value. That's kind of what happened with Vivi. As more and more people came onto the Vivi app, it established it. And so Ethernity is doing some big pushes to really drive traffic to their marketplace. And that does have a good positive effect for everyone who has some of their NFTs. And I do have some of their NFTs. So I look at these. Now I'm going to highlight all three of the ones that they have, because they do have this one where there's only 175 available. Now the starting price is higher at 459. They have this other one where there's only 300 available, and the starting price on that is 107. That is possibly my favorite for the value, is that middle one at 107. Anderson Silva, I don't know if you watched, but he was just wrecking in the MMA and crushing everybody until he literally broke his shin when he kicked it on the guy's leg. I don't know if you saw that fight, but it was epic and painful to watch. But he is an absolute legend, and that's what we're looking for, is legends. Speaking of legends, Bruce Lee. Now, I'm not sure what I think about these NFTs. I kind of like this one. I like the illusion of this one. There's only 60 total available of this one. Ooh, that's kind of cool with the colors. Look at the animation. Huh. Wow. But the lowest ask price is 1,080. Bruce Lee frequently talked about being like water. So this one is cool. There is a total of 100 available. Starting price is 661. I'm going to keep going through because we're looking for ones. Well, I'm sharing with you some of the ones I like the best. Now, I always prefer, when I'm talking about collectibles, the ones with just one individual player tend to do better. So Dak Prescott, if you're following the NFL in the US, he is one of the top players right now, or just a highly talked about player. I don't follow it close enough to know exactly what's going on. Smart of them to sign some big players like this. So essentially you can buy his common one for $4,000. There are other places that have the full or mostly full NFL license. Eternity signed some of the better players from sports and made some individual kind of cool cards. I like this kind of cool animation going on. It does make it special. And with the way metaverses are going in the future, I imagine you'll be able to put your flex pieces up on some big things. So like maybe some big screens that in the future, it won't be so much displaying your $4 million piece of art. It'll be literally TVs or monitors that might cycle through some of your NFTs that might be worth crazy amounts. So aesthetics for me are really important because I want something that's going to look cool up there, right? So they did a good job with these. I wish I could say I knew enough about the NFL to know if I really like Dak Prescott. I did follow it back in Dan Marino's days, though, and I know he's a top quarterback. Took the Dolphins to some Super Bowls. Yeah. As far as like buying a Dan Marino collectible, I don't know. He was kind of 20 years ago. I don't know how well that's going to do. Now, the DeLorean, they have some DeLorean ones. And DeLorean, see, I like this one. I don't like that lowest ask price because it's a one of one. So you're talking about $30,700. DeLorean into the metaverse. That's this one. Lowest ask. There's only 200 available, and the ask is 336. Okay. We'll keep that in mind. Let's look at what else. Yeah, like the wearables might be cool. So these are some wearables. Ethernity metaverse wearables. Like, if this does well and their metaverse does really well, some of these early ones that are selling could do tremendous, and the price isn't bad. So this hoodie, there's only 100 available, selling for 135. These shoes, there's only 250 available and going for 260. And that's one of the hard things to tell is what does the future hold? Eternity's, I felt, has always had a solid team. That's why I was super interested in getting in their pre-sale. That's why I've followed it over the past 2 years, because there's 18,000 plus projects out there. It's hard to keep track of all of them, but I've enjoyed what they've been doing. In fact, it really caught my attention when they got the license with Lionel Messi. If you're a football fan, soccer, in the US, you know exactly who Messi is. And in my opinion, Messi's one of the biggest legends in football history. And so when they signed this license, that completely got my attention. So here's the common where there's 30,000 of them and they're going for about 932. I like this as a price point because the risk to reward is really low. And I have a bunch of these. So I like this one. Now there's only 75 of these ones available. I like these a lot. These are amazing. And the lowest ask is 2,700. So it's a bigger price point, but it is Lionel Messi and 2,700. As well as there's 2,500 total of these. And the entry level price is 199. So I know there's a metric ton more of these ones, but I like that price, right? So the animation is cool. Will it ever reach the same value as these? No, as this does well, likely these other ones will do well, especially these really cool ones. Imagine in the future you have a really nice screen, right? And you've got this Messi NFT up there. And say the value goes really, really high. This would be an incredible flex piece. So these are some of the top ones that I've liked from what we're looking through today. Luis Suarez, yeah. So good players. I just don't know them as well. I can't say I follow football super closely. So Manny Pacquiao, I do know though. And he's a really big deal in the Philippines. Huge deal and a huge figurehead in sports history. So with only 500 of these available and $62, if the Philippines gets really big into the metaverse in the future, these could do really well. He is really a legend for the Philippines. So I like that for the value pickup as well, with especially so little of them. I don't necessarily like the belt. This one. See, I like the cool ones display. This belt, especially at that high price, doesn't do anything for me. I much more like these two. See, there's some Marilyn Monroe ones. At that price point, Marilyn Monroe is intellectual property that I don't know it will do well. Now, this is somebody that I think will do incredibly well over time. This is Muhammad Ali. He is one of the best legendary boxers of all time. He was amazing in not just his boxing ability, but his social dynamic ability. He is truly legendary. And so at this price point, there's 100 available and starting price 40 or 100 total, only 3 for sale, 4,800. This is not telling me how many total are available. The lowest ask is 2,300. Dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee, his famous saying. So there's a little butterfly on these boots. I really love the look of this one. So here's the bee, right? So dance with the butterfly, and he's got butterflies on his shoes, and then bee on his. I really like this one at that price point. I may have missed it, right? But I love this one. That would be an amazing flex piece on the wall in the future, right? Or even in your metaverse wall. But I think there'll be a lot of crossover in the future that our metaverses will also will flex some of our stuff, unlike in our houses, like people do with art today. All right. Okay, here's another one of mine I really, really like. I don't own it. This is one of my favorites. Now, Pele, one of the most incredible football players of all time, or soccer, if you're in the U.S., I don't love this one. Pele, not a great looking guy so much as one of the most incredible athletes historically of all time. And, the bicycle kick, we all wanted to be able to do this when we were kids, right? We all wanted to score a goal with a bicycle kick. So I really love these moments. I especially love this gold moment. It really looks incredible. Amazing flex piece on the wall someday. And, so this one at $202 is a lot lower entry price. There's only 300 available. This one at $1,500 starting price, there's 125 total. But this is one of my favorite ones. It looks absolutely incredible. All right. So Shaquille O'Neal, I actually covered this months ago when these were launching. And really cool job. Shaquille O'Neal is a very unique basketball player from back when I used to follow American basketball. 15,000 total available. I do like these entry points, but I like this second one a little bit better. It's just barely a little bit higher. It's got some extra color on it, and there's only 2,700 total of them. This one's even better. There's only 500 total, and the ask price is about, what is that? 4.5x over what this price is, and yet there's only 500 available. So between these two are some of my favorites. These ones look good too. All right. Oh, I was missing that one. And with authority, yeah. Okay. So those are some cool ones. This Shaquille O'Neal, I like these card ones a little bit better. These ones are cool too. And Shaquille O'Neal, I think he'll always have a place in history because of how unique he was, not only as a player, but great businessman. All right, on to some other ones that are really interesting for this space. So the crypto space is unique, and there's a lot of technology that will completely change the world. And I believe it's possible that some of the intellectual property within this space will do well. And the Winklevoss twins have been legends in this space in pushing it forward and helping make it happen, which is kind of a risk, but I suspect personally that these cards might do well because of that. It is unproven, right? So we know that intellectual property of top athletes, if there's something special about it, like first on the blockchain, that's special. And it doesn't always mean it's worth a lot now, but down the road, people look for first, right? So this isn't the first NFT of the Winklevoss, I believe. It is the first on Ethernity, though. And if Ethernity establishes themselves as one of the major marketplaces, well, then that carries a lot of weight. These Tony Hawk ones, I really like Tony Hawk, but, I don't know. They're all right. I guess if it were just up there on the wall circling around, especially if the value on these do incredibly well, that could be epic. But yeah, it's what the heck? It just looks like, a video game version of him, right? Doing some stuff. So yeah. Now there's some US Space Force stuff. Okay. I don't know. I don't have any track record to look at to see if that will do well. And then, some American football, Ezekiel Elliott. This one looks amazing, though. So there's 2,100 available of this one, but that is absolutely stunning looking. These are cool. This one is stunning looking. It's going for $81. Now, if you know football well, you'll know whether Ezekiel Elliott is good. I don't actually know. But this one I do love, and only 2,100 total of them. Yeah. So a lot of what I do when I'm collecting NFTs is I just buy ones that have good enough IP. I think that they're first, that they will do really, really well. And sometimes I'm right and it does exceptionally well. And sometimes I'm wrong and it just goes up some. And I guess sometimes a few of the regular NFTs like that I bought off of OpenSea, some of those have tanked worse. which is some lessons learned. I've learned to be careful about the intellectual property. And so my success ratio has gone way up just from some learned lessons, that I look for solid intellectual property. I look for solid firsts. I look for those kind of things that we walked through in this video today. I hope that's helpful. Ethernity, cool things what they've done in the marketplace. They're delivering some top NFTs. I hope they do really well, because I have some, and I just wanted to share that today. Now, generally, we're in a bear market, and you know this. Why? Well, look at the viewership in everybody's YouTube channel. Look at everything. It's down, and that's okay. This is what a bear market looks like. And this is when it feels like you will have endless amounts of time to buy whatever, because prices will stay down. And it often lulls us to sleep. I did a video earlier this week specifically about that. But the market does flip around. It usually catches you way off guard. And so what happens is a lot of people just put in tiny little bits, and then all of a sudden the market takes off, and then they wish they had done more. Now is very much the time to take the market serious and be doing your own research and determining what you think are good buys. NFTs are higher risk than normal. Some NFTs are going to be worth incredible amounts of money, and some NFTs will be worth far less in the future than they even are today. So that's why I research, and that's why I tend to look for good intellectual property. I do take some risks on marketplaces like Ethernity. I see the direction that they're going. I like it. So that's why I like Ethernity. We don't know in 10 years from now what are some of the premier marketplaces, and it will make a big difference. Whatever few companies end up winning that marketplace battle, some of their earliest NFTs will be worth much more than some of the NFTs on other platforms that really didn't survive very well. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, the rains will come again, and projects that have planted their seeds well and nurtured them will flourish. And those of us who have found and invested in and been patient with those projects, our portfolios will flourish. Thanks so much. See you soon.